Econ kids, this is module 76. We are still in section 14 where we're talking about what happens when, maybe we don't account for all the costs of our goods. What happens when we're not producing for everybody and maybe everybody should have it. Those kinds of items, right? Especially when we're dealing with something like a good that is providing a positive externality, right? We know those are going to be underproduced. So if we know something benefits everybody, should we just allow those to be publicly provided by your tax dollars? So we're talking about public goods, what goods should be public, what goods should be private, and now we kind of look at how to determine whether one thing goes one way or another. When you're looking at private goods, the two words that we're going to see here are excludable and rival. Okay, so excludable simply means like just how it sounds. I can stop you from having it. And basically, I can stop somebody from having it by starting to charge money, right? So charge a fee of some kind, charge dollars. If you want it to be even more excludable, we'll start charging more money, and pretty soon people won't be able to afford it. That's one of the things we're looking at. The other word that you'll see is called rival. All right. Now, sometimes you'll see rival. Sometimes you'll see like shared consumption. Right, that's the other one that you'll see here. So you might see either or, shared consumption. And basically what this one is saying is if you use it, it's yours, right? Versus if you use it, it doesn't bother anybody else's, like having of that particular thing. So when you think about this one, you use it and it's yours alone. Okay, so that would be something like if it was when you're talking about something that's like rival or it's not shared consumption or whatever, then that should be a private good. So for example, when I'm looking at this private one on the side here, it says it's excludable. So you can prevent people who can't use it, right? Just charge money or something like that. And it's rival. The unit of the good can't be consumed by somebody else at the same time. Like you use it and it's yours. Now, other goods aren't like that. Like private goods, the example they always use is like a haircut. Like the haircut is yours, right? I could exclude people from having a haircut by having a person who does your hair charge money for that service. And then the haircut is yours and yours alone. Nobody else is using the haircut. But in a public sense, like if we talk about pure public goods, it's non-excludable, right? That means I can't stop you from using this particular good because this good is in the public realm somewhere. Like you're using it, somebody else is using it, I can't stop you from coming in. Think about like a public park, if you will, right? Like I can't say, hey, you can't come into this park today because the park is for everybody. At the same time, you coming into the park doesn't really diminish my experience of the park. So it is non-rival. Like more than one person can consume the park at the same time because there's enough space, there's enough park equipment, there's enough maybe picnic tables, right? There's enough stuff in the park for you to do that you're not bothering somebody else. So this one is non-excludable and non-rival. Or is there shared consumption here? Yeah, it's shared. Like you should be able to say somebody else is using it, you can use it too. Those two are pretty easy to understand. The other two are a little bit weird, like a common resource. A common resource means I cannot exclude you from using this resource, but if I'm using it, it's mine alone. When you think about common resources, think about anything in like a school that's common. The common like the restroom, right? I can't exclude you from using the public restroom, but once you go into that public restroom, it's sort of yours, and you decide you're just going to draw all over the walls. Why? Well, because it's my restroom, right? I can't stop you from going in, but once you go in, it's kind of like your private little area. And then what? You tend to wreck those things. That happens to common resources all the time. The last one is called like an artificially scarce good. Sometimes this is called like a toll good. In this one, I can exclude you from going. But once you're using it, it doesn't really diminish the experience of the other people. So in this case, a lot of times it's something like a toll road, right? I can exclude you from driving on the toll road. I can start charging money for the toll road. But once I charge that money, some people are gonna not go on the road, but you going on the road isn't really diminishing my experience of the road. Like, I'm still on the road too. So when you start looking at artificially scarce, a lot of times there's a fee somehow that's gonna keep some people away, but the people that do pay the fee and go, it doesn't really bother them that you're there too. Think about a big amusement park like Six Flags. It's definitely excludable, right? So I can stop you from going by charging you a ticket price. But then once you're in the park, it doesn't really bother anybody else that you're in the park too. Like, everybody's just getting in lines for the rides, etc. Now, you can overpopulate the park. So then what you should do is charge more, like a higher fee to exclude. When you look at these examples, like, you basically put them in this little chart here. And this one's got excludable and then rival in the one box. So if it's excludable and rival, it's private, right? And then they have things in here like wheat and bathroom fixtures. Like, those are just private things. If you go non-excludable and non-rival, those things are pure public. Like, hey, national defense, right? I cannot exclude you from getting national defense, even though I might want to, right? I can't exclude you. And then it's non-rival, like national defense just helps everybody. Now, why might I want to exclude someone from getting national defense? Well, every person out there who's just cheating on their taxes and not giving the military their full amount because they're hiding their money or they're just choosing not to pay taxes, I feel like those people should be excluded then from the military. Like, give the bad guys their address and be like, look, this person doesn't pay for this service. And then, oh no, the bad guy's got the non-taxpayer. It is what it is, right? But it doesn't work that way. I can't exclude you just because, even if you don't pay your taxes, I can't exclude you from having the greatest military in the world protecting you. You just get that. So that's a pure public good. And sometimes there are people that take advantage of that, like the person who doesn't pay their taxes and then still gets the military. There's lots of people who don't pay their taxes, and then they think that makes them very smart not to pay their taxes. And all I think is, you're just giving our military less stuff. Like, that guy died because you didn't pay your taxes. I don't think that's not being smart. That's being selfish, right? Pay your taxes so that we have the best military continue. Now, the two weird ones here are what happens when you can exclude somebody, but it's non-rival. Those are artificially scarce, right? Or a toll good kind of a thing. Computer software, pay-per-view movies, right? I can exclude you from getting a pay-per-view movie, but if you all sit there and watch it together, it doesn't really diminish your consumption of it. And the other one is the common resources, where I can't exclude you, but once you use it, it's yours. Clean water is usually one. Fish, like in the ocean, is usually one, right? Like, the fisherman goes and gets all the fish, they're his, but I can't stop you from fishing the ocean. But then once you fish the ocean, that fish is definitely just yours. It's not everybody's fish. So that's how you fill in these boxes. Sometimes when you take those common area resources and you like overfishing the sea, etc., that's called the tragedy of the commons. And what happens is commons just get destroyed. And if you think about even your commons here at school, destroyed, right? Yeah, because nobody really pays attention to it. Everybody thinks it's theirs. Like, I can't stop you from going to the commons, but once you're in the commons in a seat that's kind of yours, then you start scratching into the tables, or you start, just wrecking things in there. And then you're like, what? This is mine. I sit here. And it's like, okay, That's what happens, right? So the commons typically does get destroyed. It's a good way of thinking about that. The library, same thing, right? Kids just wreck stuff. And of course, artificially scarce goods. Firms have a hard time with this one too sometimes. When you think about examples of this, maybe something like the cable company, right? Like if you say, or maybe it's your Netflix account, right? Like if you give somebody the password, and then all of a sudden everybody's using that service. So I can exclude you, but then once you have it, everybody has it, and that's kind of how that one works. Interesting to see. Module 76 about being public and private. In class, maybe we'll do something like healthcare and where that should be. Probably depends on the type. Emergency room care should probably be pure public, because then it gets people to go to the emergency, or not, like basic needs or whatever. Maybe it gets you out of the emergency room, because the problem with the emergency room is it's not pure public. It's basically right now a common resource. It's overused because people start using that as their primary physician instead of going to their doctor. But they don't have insurance, so therefore they don't go to their doctor. And then when they get sick, they just go to the emergency room because they can't turn you away. So when you look at it, interesting to see how healthcare works. That one we'd probably do in class though, because we need more time. All right. Public and private, have a good rest of your day.